What up, DC Gang? It's your boy DreadHawk. Back with another video. Back with another Mr.Ballen. Y'all know what time it is. Y'all see the title.
The greatest story of all. The greatest storyteller of all time.
Get it
One
right.
of the greatest storytellers.
Don't get it misconstrued.
Yes.
Right here, we about to react to this woman had an evil secret. I already see what kind of secret she had.
Right, me too.
If it's on Mr.Ballen talking about it, it's something serious.
That's something too.
So if y'all new to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button, turn on the post notifications, put a like on the video at the end, drop a comment down below what video y'all want to see next from DC Gang. Ready to get into it?
Let's get into it.
Let's go.
Spears was born on December 3rd, 2008. He was a sick child. At just 2 months old, he stopped being able to keep food down and he began losing weight. His mother, Lacey, switched him from breast milk to formula, thinking that might help, but it didn't. So she switched to a combination between breast milk and formula. That didn't work, so she brought him to the doctor. After running a blood test, it was determined Garnett's sodium levels were too high, which was most likely the cause for his upset stomach. And so the doctor gave Garnett an IV, which flushed the sodium out of his system, and immediately Garnett seemed better off. And then afterwards, when Lacey asked the doctor why could this be happening, he said he didn't know, that perhaps it was something in his formula, or maybe even something in her breast milk. He gave her some advice on what she should be eating, and then gave her the obligatory reminder to, don't give him anything besides breast milk or formula. He gave her special formula to use, and then he sent her on her way. Despite following doctor's orders, over the next several months, Garnett continued to get sick, be brought into the doctor's office, only to discover his sodium levels were elevated again. Finally, after 9 months of this still going on and Lacey not getting any answers about what was going on with her son, she brought him to a specialist who suggested, as a short-term solution, why don't we just put a feeding tube directly into Garnett's abdomen? That way we can guarantee he's getting the exact right mix of nutrients, and if he's still having elevated sodium levels after that, then we'll look at other reasons this could be happening. After it was inserted, Garnett's condition seemed to dramatically improve, leading doctors to believe it had to have been some strange ingredient inside the formula or something inside of Lacey's breast milk. But despite his improved condition, Garnett was not 100% healthy. Over the next few years, periodically, his sodium levels would spike, which no doctor could explain, and it would cause stomach pains and headaches, and in some instances, it would cause seizures. And Lacey, who diligently documented every single food, fluid, anything that went inside of her son, at the first sign of trouble, she would rush him to the hospital. But all doctors could ever do was administer an IV to flush the sodium out, and then give her the obligatory reminder to only feed him certain foods that were low in sodium. And so for the next few years, life went on like that. In 2012, when Garnett was 4, they moved out of Lacey's hometown in Alabama to New York. They moved into a retirement community called the Fellowship, which is a place where younger people can go and live for free in exchange for caring for the elderly. And Garnett loved it there. He would run around the halls and poke his head in the older folks' room, and they all loved Garnett. It was really just a happy place for both Lacey and for Garnett. During that time, Lacey started a blog called Garnett the Great, which documented Garnett's life and their kind of collective struggles to figure out what was going on with Garnett with these weird sodium level spikes. The blog gained a lot of support, not only because of Garnett's condition, but because this was not the first hardship the mother and son had had to face. When Lacey was pregnant with Garnett, Garnett's father, who was a police officer, was killed in a car accident. And so the supporters of this blog were really eager to find ways to give back and support this mother and son. But no amount of love and support could have prevented what happened in January of 2014. On the 17th of that month, Garnett woke up with a high fever and stomach pains, and on the drive into the hospital, he had a seizure. When they arrived, doctors tested Garnett's blood, and like usual, his sodium levels were through the roof. And so they administered an IV, which reduced his symptoms. And after he was back to normal, they said they wanted to keep him at the hospital for a couple of days to observe him because of that seizure he had. They wanted to make sure that, 1, it didn't happen again, and 2, there wasn't something else going on. For the first 2 days of Garnett's observation at the hospital, he was asymptomatic. They tested his blood blood, his sodium levels were normal, and everything seemed to be going fine. And in fact, they were getting ready to discharge him when all of a sudden, on January 19th, so 2 days after arriving, he suddenly seemed to be in much worse shape. When they tested his blood, sure enough, his sodium levels were at an all-time high. And so after giving him an IV and attempting to lower his sodium levels, it just wasn't happening quickly enough. And so they transferred him to a specialized children's hospital that could handle this situation better, and they were able to bring his levels back down to normal. However, the damage had been done. This final enormous sodium spike had led to massive brain swelling that ultimately killed him a couple of days later. After his death, doctors were baffled at how his sodium could have spiked on January 19th because they were closely monitoring what was going into his body. And sodium does not just suddenly appear in your body. It needs to be inserted into your body. And so they reviewed all of his medical...
So don't tell me the mother was putting some type
She
of...
probably was. That's what I'm thinking.
Something in his system or something
To
like that
make
to make him
But then she turned around and acting like she's concerned.
concerned.
And sending...
Because he gets better, then when he go home, then it's like spike up again. It's like
they get him right there.
Yeah.
And it's back up. And this time he had a seizure and
his brain.
there's some sick people out here, man. I want to.
Yeah, man.
Files, and that included looking at the footage of the camera that had been set up at the foot of the bed facing Garnett to monitor him for seizures. And on that camera, they saw his own mother, Lacey, take him out of bed on the 19th, carrying a white cup and an attachment to Garnett's feeder tube. She takes Garnett out of bed. She walks him into the bathroom. A couple minutes later, she brings him back, puts him back in bed, and seconds later, he's violently ill. They come in, they test his blood, and what do you know? The sodium is at that critical high point that ultimately killed him. Doctors were obviously very suspicious of Lacey and what she was doing with her son in the bathroom, and so they showed it to police. Police launch an investigation. They go to Lacey's house, and as soon as they walk inside...
You just said it. I was thinking kind of the same thing, but that sea salt at that. Sea salt is strong. I tried sea salt a long time ago, and...
So you don't put too much of that in your food.
I accidentally put a good bit in there and messed up the whole meal. Like, that's strong. That's why. That's why.
What's the reasoning behind it? Like, it shouldn't even be no reason.
It should be no reason. If you're mad at somebody else, the father, maybe, or something like that. Well, he's dead. Yeah.
I don't know. I guess we can find out.
Police launch an investigation. They go to Lacey's house, and as soon as they walk inside, there is table salt all over the house. There's salt on every table, and inside of the boy's room was an IV stand with this brackish-looking liquid inside of an IV bag that they tested, and it was salt water that contained the equivalent of 70 salt packets. Lacey had been intentionally poisoning her son with too much salt since he was born because she liked the attention she received. Lacey had a history of lying to get attention. She used to lie as a kid and even as an adult about different illnesses that she said she had, and she also lied about Garnett's father. He was not a police officer. He had not been killed in an accident. He was just a former friend that she refused to let see Garnett. During Garnett's final hospital stay, after doctors informed Lacey that her...
Just for attention. She
so
liked
he wasn't
the attention she received.
That's wrong,
when
man.
Bad things happen. Like, so you rather risk your child's life. Well, you did.
You did. For attention for you.
For attention.
Come on, man. It's sick people out here in this world just like her. There's more people out here just like her.
Then she lied and said that the child's father died in a car accident. He wasn't a police officer. He was a friend. And he wouldn't even let him see the child.
That's sad, man. I feel like that's just... That boy didn't even get to live life.
Yeah,
the person that you think that's going to take care of you and there to love you is actually killing you.
That's sad. Just for attention.
For attention.
Son's brain had swollen so much hospital stay after doctors informed Lacey that her son's brain had swollen so much it was unlikely he would survive, all caused by Lacey. She posted this picture to Facebook. Shortly after, Garnett slipped into a coma and never regained consciousness. He was 6 years old. Lacey was sentenced to 20 years to life in prison. So
that's it.
Yeah,
give her the whole life and feed her salt. They should do the same thing you do to people.
That's going to do it, guys. If you found the secret in today's episode, let us know in the comments what it is and where you found it. So give us the times.
I know the speeches. Just for attention, though, like.
That little boy looked so happy in those things.
All his pictures, he always looked happy.
His mama was doing that to him, man. That hurt me because there's so many kids out here, as we speak right now, getting things done to them, and there's nothing being done. Nobody really knows. Don't know, yeah. I'm species game, man. Yeah. I don't even. That kind of. I ain't even say that kind of. That messed up.
You get sad and angry a little bit too.
I messed up my whole mood. So y'all get down in the comment section. Let us know how y'all feel about this evil lady, man. That's all it is, evil lady. Let us know what other videos y'all want to see from DC Game. Other than that, DC Game, man, we love y'all. I go by the name DreadHawk.
And I go by the name Cash.
Catch y'all on the next one.
Catch y'all next one.
Peace.